Ladies and gentlemen, call this meeting order here today and welcome everybody here for our June the 12th, 2025 regular board meeting. Our first order on the agenda today would be an invocation and Mr. Long.
Like I say, good evening to everyone. Thanks to the Lord. Almighty merciful Father, we give you thanks for this day. We give you thanks for all the blessings spread around this room. We ask you to bless this meeting. Let us carry this meeting out in your name and a prayer. When we vote, that we vote to help the citizens in this county throughout the northern name. Through your son's name, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Everyone stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next would be the approval of the agenda. You have any additions or subtractions to the agenda, gentlemen? Staff have anything they want to change? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve?
So, second.
Got a motion second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Next is approval of minutes. We got four sets of minutes. The May the 8th, 2025 was our regular board meeting. Any changes or deletions to that set of minutes? Motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
All right. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
May the 14th special meeting. Any changes to the minutes? If not, motion to approve.
Move we approve.
All right, got a motion and a second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
May the 21st, 2025, any changes to those minutes? If not, motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
May the 28th, 2025, any changes to those minutes? If not, all, motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
And a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, all gentlemen. All right, next is presentations. We have the Anti-Litter Committee here today. Come on up, ladies and gentlemen. Hi.
Hello. Oh, I guess he's gonna make me do this.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Glenda Lowry. I'm on the Anti-Litter Committee. In fact, I'm the recording secretary. We're gonna give you just a little update on what we've been doing, which we're supposed to do once a year. And we have a PowerPoint. Oh, okay. We have an action plan for 2025, 2026. We've got 6 actions. The first action is to promote the cause of a clean county culture through education and publicity. And we have managed to accomplish 5 of our 6 bullets under that. We go to the Heathville Farmers Market, where we have a business card now. We put articles in local newspapers, and we present an annual report to the Board of Supervisors. Our second action is to host a tire amnesty recycling collection event, which we did in conjunction with the school system a couple of years ago. We received the DEQ non-competitive grant. And we use that money to support the spring hazardous waste event because we were not able to get it together to do the actual tire recycling. So we've applied for another grant and we hope to do it in the fall. Action 3, encourage litter cleanups. We distribute free cleanup kits at all anti-litter events, including the farmers market. And we funded an additional wintertime cleanup on primary roads through VDOT. Action 4, we had a cover your load event, which we're gonna show you some pictures of. So we have just recently done that on May 31st. Action 5 is to explore ways to partner with the Northumberland public school systems to educate elementary school students. We have not worked on that. That is something that we are going to work on for the rest of the year. And Action 6 is something that we added, and we have not had a chance to work on this yet either. We're going to investigate illegal sign removal from roadsides. So we have accomplished, most of what we have, most of our goals so far, and we've still got part of the year to go. So you can go ahead with the photos. And this, no, wait a minute, back up, right. So the Cover Your Load event that we just did, we did marketing, we had banners, Stewart purchased cargo nets that we gave out, and we were at the 3 county recycling centers on May 31st. And we pretty much gave out everything, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a steady stream.
Yeah. So that was successful. That's the second time we've done that, and we've got some pictures from that. So that's Ditchley.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Where is that? I don't even know where that one is.
Ditchley.
That's
Also
Ditchley.
in Kilmarnock.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's
I wasn't
Ditchley.
at
The
that.
next 2 are Lotsburg.
Okay, and then I was at Lotsburg. There's our banner. We've got three of those banners. And we were set up outside of the actual recycling center. And there's Stewart giving away a cargo net. All right, and so I've already talked about what we're working on, but in conclusion, we were formed in 2020. And we had our first meeting in November of 2020. The bylaws state that the committee is comprised of 7 members, 2 from each district and 2 at large, who serve 4 years in staggered terms. So currently our membership is 6 members. We need a new appointment for District 5. We just recently got a new at-large person. 3 of us, Mary Martha Stewart, Arthur Carver, and me should have rotated off by now. But we haven't, because we don't have anybody to replace us. We haven't found any replacements. So I would like to request that the Board of Supervisors, as well as everyone here, help us recruit badly needed new members and volunteers. If we just had volunteers who could help us with some of our projects, who would not be on the committee 100% of the time, that would be very helpful. And we're working on that too. But we would like to continue with our, and I'm gonna quote this from the bylaws, with our purpose, which is to promote the cause of a cleaner, more attractive community through litter control and recycling. And thank you for all your support over the past several years.
All right. May
Uh,
I ask the,
any board members have any questions?
I have some questions. One is that we still need a lot of work in the county, as far as everywhere you go is trash and everything. And one suggestion is that there's a lot of parents out there help, but you have to get the information out. And a lot of organizations I belong to, I was able to get word to the parents by putting information in elementary kids' backpack, and they carry it home.
Okay.
And those parents spread the word, because elementary kids will get the announcements home.
Well, we're gonna put you on the committee.
Well-
So you can help us with action 5,
No-
which
no
is
problem.
explore ways to partner with the elementary school.
No problem, as long as you have lunch. It better be- But that's just one way,
Yeah,
because a lot
Good
of
idea.
people, don't read the paper that much, and, so a good way is to get it through the young kids. They'll
Yeah.
carry announcements home. All right, this is a suggestion.
thank you.
You,
Any other questions?
Any other board members have any questions?
Sure, I've got one. Action 6, investigate illegal sign removal. I must be misinformed. What's going on there? Why? Who's removing signs? Why are they doing it?
Well, what we want to do, they're considered in some cases litter. They're not authorized and they're put up. And so we're looking for, we've got to investigate the situation to see what the laws are and how they can actually be removed legally.
So it's not removal, it's identifying legal signs and determining if they need to be removed. If they're in the VDOT right of way, they're technically not allowed to be in the VDOT right of way. And some people have commented that they're a visual blight.
right.
Are any particular signs you talk about, just like you see for advertising for work, political signs on down the line? anything?
For finishing, high-speed
Yeah.
internet,
Yeah, everything like that you
Yeah.
see on the side of the roads. A lot of them are stuck right next to the tar.
and in some places, at intersections, they can impede your vision.
That's right.
Light line down the road.
Yeah, okay.
But we're just in the investigative
Mhm.
phase. We'll have to come to you if we're gonna do it.
Okay.
Right.
Good work.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, well, I want to say thank you for everything you've done because it has been a big improvement. I've seen a big improvement on the highways. And the cargo nets, I know that's a big help.
Yes.
And anything else y'all can come up with would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right, next is a update from Northumberland County Schools.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Dr. Leslie. How are you doing?
I'm well. So I do have a PowerPoint. I have a bunch of help with me this evening. So I just wanted to start by saying that I have Mr. Brand with me. I know there were some questions regarding the well abandonment project. So I'm Mr. Brand
Right.
along with me to help out. We have two gentlemen, excuse me, from UHY with us this evening to discuss some of the questions about finance and updates on how that's been going. Then, of course, Ms. Ashton is with me, and I have some budget updates for you with some updated numbers. Could you do the next slide for me? Thank you. So first, I was going to invite Mr. Brannup, if that is okay with the board, since I know there were a number of questions regarding the well in the last meeting.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Mr. Brand, how you doing?
All right, right. I know y'all had a lot of questions about the process, where we're at, and some of our thoughts on how we proceed forward with this. I'm here to take whatever questions you have.
All right. Board member want to go first?
Sure. What's DEQ mandating that we do, first of all?
Department of Environmental Quality has, on this 9-year cycle for the permit, requested that a minimum of 1 well, we have 2 on site, but a minimum of 1 well be abandoned at the school facilities. It is our discretion as to which one we want to abandon, but it has to be abandoned by March of 2026. And the reasons for this are poor grouting processes during the construction phase of each well.
Can you speak to, we had talked about just abandoning 1 well and using the other well to supply water to both buildings. Can you speak to how that would work, the actual connections?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with 2 wells, I know there's been a lot of questions and concerns from everybody about, is there a cross connect? In the 6 years I've been here, I have been through this system, and I can tell you there is a cross connect system in this facility. Now, when you look at the drawings, it doesn't reflect it. However, it's a 6-inch line that's running parallel to our athletic irrigation system. For the longest time, to give you an example, when we've dug down, we've had outside sources come in, help us with valves underground that have leaked, things of that nature. We found this other line and tried to figure out what it was. Finally, once we dug down, we looked at it, we followed it out, we traced all the valves and where they went, and it did come from one pump house to the other. So the high school, middle school pump house, this 6-inch line runs down to the elementary school pump house. There's about 4 isolation valves in the system, and they all parallel. If anybody's familiar, the fire lane that goes from the high school down to the ball fields parallels that, and the other valves are up near the road. I'd say about 15 feet off of Academic Lane, going to the end of it where the pump house is down there. Now, with these 2 facilities, by far the larger pumping system is going to be the one at the high school and middle school. And naturally so, it has a much higher demand because there's 2 school, the middle and the high are both feeding off of it. The elementary school system was never designed because it's actually 28 years old now since it was put into place, was never designed to feed up towards 360. So the pumps that are in place there are just big enough to provide potable water to the elementary school as well as fixed sprinkler fire suppression. And that's it. So if we were to isolate one of these schools, or excuse me, not isolate, but abandon a well and try to keep one in place, we would have to abandon the elementary school. And that's my strong opinion. It's not, I would say, the end all be all because we have not had the engineer on site. But talking with him, the few times we've been able to get up with Mr. Mangrum, it wouldn't behoove us to try to send water from the elementary school to the high school. In the event there was a fire in the building and we had fixed sprinklers that went in place and started utilizing them for fire suppression, they could not keep up with the demand of filling our holding tank up at the high school middle. So if we abandon one and we do not dig a well, it's my honest opinion that we would have to abandon the elementary school and utilize the high school middle to supply everything on Academic Lane.
Well, what does DEQ allow us? What is our allowable volume to pull out of the ground, and where do we stand either monthly or annually compared to that permit?
Well, we're really hitting just under 50% of our daily allowable. And that is our highest. And
That's from both wells combined, right?
both wells combined, yes, sir. And I'm saying that off of our summer months when we're providing irrigation to our athletic fields. In the winter months, we use on average about 3,800 gallons of water per day per school. So that's 3,800 gallons of water at the elementary school, 3,800 to about, between 36 and 38, believe it or not, we use less in the middle and high. Don't know why that is. I think it's just a more efficient system. So each well, I believe per day, we're allowed either 74,000 or 76,000 gallons per day of usage. We're not hitting that demand at all in the winter months. In the summer months, we pump up a lot more. We push about 9,000 to 12,000 gallons a day because of the irrigation on the athletic fields. That being said, we bump that back to every other day, every third day, just, for financial purposes. But we never meet that allowable source. One well could provide everything to both schools.
So the reason we're having this conversation involves cross-contamination, right?
Yes, sir.
So both wells are drawing from the same aquifer.
They are. Mhm.
When was the code put on the books that about this cross-contamination?
I honestly can't say. I always have to go back. I know that Mr. Ambrose and I pulled that up and provided that to you over the phone conversation.
Yeah.
I just can't remember offhand what the date was. I don't want to say and be incorrect.
Well, I've got it in my notes here, and it was August the 1st of 91, and then again, it was amended on June 23rd of 93.
That sounds correct. Yeah.
But our well was installed, the high school well was installed in 2009, right?
2009. And their grouting procedure was a black sand grout material that they put in place. At the time, it was meeting the minimum code requirements and it was suffice. However, this black sand medium has, I don't want to say dislocated from its location, but the way we found out that it was not doing its proper grouting procedure is we were failing our annual backflow preventer inspections because the backflows were not lodging and basically acting as a check valve, preventing backflow because this media was washing up through the well. There is a break somewhere. We don't know. We had an engineer from Power and Flow come. He really doesn't know at what depth it is, but it is washing out, and that's how we found out that our grout was failing there.
But is that the reason we're having to replace that well, or is it a cross-contamination issue?
No, it's because the Department of Environmental Quality knows that was the option they used for grouting. And they said that wasn't suffice to prevent and the cross contamination is between other aquifers.
Well, my point of those questions is that the wells were installed after the state put in the code about cross-contamination. Were we allowed to put the wells in improperly?
I couldn't answer on that at that time.
Good question there.
Are you done? You were talking about abandoning one well. What's involved with abandoning a well?
Well, it does involve a permit. We'd have to get the permit to do it. As a matter of fact, the engineer told me they've changed the process a little bit. It used to be a benzite material they used to pump down in there with a layer of stone, another layer of benzite. It all was dependent of the depth, and 872 feet, I think, is exact on the elementary school well. So it would be, I think, 3 layers of stone at about 60 feet.
Get any prices on that?
No, sir.
No prices on that. And if I understand you correctly, right now today, if you had to do it, you could not pump water from one school to another off either well.
We could. I don't think we could do it efficiently from the elementary school to the high school due to the size of the pump.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. We could do it from the high school to the elementary school. My concern, and I'm just being honest here, this line that we found has not been in service. It hasn't been in service in the 6 years I've been here.
Yeah, that's why it was doubtful that it was there to start off with.
Right.
Didn't nobody know.
And I'll be honest, when we looked at drawings, all of our drawings don't reflect this
I
line.
can't understand that. Can't
Yeah.
understand why drawings don't show it.
Mhm.
So what is the alternate deal that we need to do now to take care
Well,
of this problem?
Right now, my biggest dilemma is getting a meeting. And I would love to have the individual on site. Mr. Mangrum, the engineer that we have, I believe he's on retainer with the county. We are in dire straits to get him on site to say, in fact, yes, this is what you need to do, or no, this is incorrect. You have to, at a minimum, dig one well in the process. Perfect situation, we wouldn't have to, but you know, I want him to actually come in, do the formulas, check our flow rates, check our holding tanks, head pressures and everything on these systems to see, in fact, that our system will be able to suffice for everything on Academic Lane.
And you've got what, 9 months to do this?
9 months. Mhm.
That's all I have.
So you've reached out to Mr. Mangrum, but you haven't had any luck in a conversation with him.
We've talked to him a few times. I've gotten some email back. We have not been able to get a phone call with him. I do understand he's very busy. Dr. Leslie and I.
Who isn't busy?
Exactly. And we tried to reach out to him yesterday. I do not know if he got back with you. No.
They under contract to county, right?
They are, well, we've got a standing contract with Rob Mangrum. The school board also did a MOU in order to fall under that contract.
Contact if we want a date and time that he can meet with the school. This stuff, phone calls going back and forth, emails going back and forth, and nothing getting resolved, don't help us.
And right now, we can't proceed forward with anything until we get that engineer on site to say what exactly our options are. He may say that we have no choice but to dig at least one well, maybe a well of larger size that is co-located in an area centralized between the schools to provide to both. Because I do want everyone to know that when we get the next permit, it's gonna be on another 9-year cycle. In that cycle, we are required to abandon the other well. And I know there is a lot of financial debacle going on right now but we could save money in the future. And it's an option, something to look at.
Is getting a price on an official abandonment something we should also be working on now?
Yep. Should get a price on that immediately.
And that's some, I don't know if y'all know, I have taken another position, but I have told Dr. Leslie and my crew in the maintenance department that I'm gonna help them through this process, because, you know, I've got a lot of knowledge in what this system has, and, you know, I'd like to see it through, so I'll still be around.
Good. Glad of that, thank you.
Yeah, so we'll make it happen.
All right, any other questions, Mr. Brand?
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, board. Good evening to the community. I'm here to talk about the second bullet, the standards of quality bonuses, special appropriation that Dr. Leslie discussed at the last meeting. I just wanted to kind of explain the SOQ and where we are with it. After running the numbers, because it is a retention bonus, and looking at the employees that we currently have employed for the school year, we came up with about 150 employees that we have that are SOQ eligible. And what that means that these are employees that are teachers, school psychologists, our school nurses, our instructional assistants, our principals, assistant principals, and then our school-based administrative assistants. So with the money that was provided by the state, the $127,727, we're looking at providing an $850 bonus to the SOQ eligible employees. I do know that Dr. Leslie has submitted documentation, and we're asking for approval of a special appropriation for those SOQ bonuses for the employees.
All right, board members have any questions? One question, how did the state just come out and tell you that they had 127,727?
Well, I do know that they looked at, I don't know what data they looked at prior to, but they said we had about 127 eligible employees, but we actually have 150. So they went by that number of employees, but we actually have 150 that are found under the SOQ, so.
Was that mistake on their part or our part by getting that incorrect number?
It depends on what reporting they were looking at. I don't know if it was their current reporting or previous. I don't know if you know the exact answer to that.
So for some of the SOQs are looking at the minimum number of employees for certain things per 1,000 student. What's the minimum number of employees that you should have for the SOQs? So not all of the employees are SOQ employees, meaning we have gone above and beyond as far as the number of people who are enrolled in SOQ eligible positions. So I will say, and I did say this last meeting as well, this is common in school divisions. Usually the SOQs are going to lay out the absolute minimum number of people that you have to have in order to fill those positions. So as I had stated last time, we do have more employees than the SOQs require. And so that's how we got at that 150 number. We felt though, given that the spirit of the bonuses was for instructional staff, we felt that it would be fair to try to keep with the spirit of the bonus and to try to include anybody that would be involved in those SOQ type processes for the standards of quality and instruction.
Okay. And this is all state funded, no county funds?
Yes, sir. There is no local contribution that is needed for this. This is, they have already allocated this money, and I included the EDI transfer in the special appropriation request. So essentially what happens is either we use this money or it would revert back. And we can't, it's not as if we could use it for anything else. We had to file a certification to say that that was our plans for the money. So we did file that so that if it was approved, we would be able to make those bonuses.
All right, board members have any other questions? All right. Board want to take any action on this?
Funds
Yeah, we
already,
do that tonight.
funds already been received.
Right.
Funds are here, we just have to appropriate them.
Okay.
You don't take a motion?
So I have a motion for
Yes.
it.
I like to move that, make a motion that we move forward.
All right. Let's move forward with $127,727.
Right.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion to second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those against? All right. There you go, Dr. Leslie.
Okay, I definitely want to thank you on behalf of all of our employees and especially those that are in the SOQ position. So thank you very much. Can you go to the next slide? Previously, and I know you have some of these numbers, I had given some of these to Mr. Tadlock to share, but I had spoken to you about the fact that I had gone back at the budget after the May 21st meeting and taken another look to try to make as many reductions as I could. I did make several versions of the budget based on the conversations to try to look at what our budget would look like if we had just done some cuts off of the top. And I did that through some attrition of positions that were not necessary for us to employ, but had been vacated, and some moving around of people within the division. So that gave us the 700, and I can't see it now, there it is, $737,495 reduction. That was consistent with keeping that 5% raise that we had originally presented and the 1.25 for administrators. But given that you had asked us to try to cut between 1.5 and $1.9 million, we continued and also ran these numbers. What would it look like if we tried to do a 3% raise for our employees? What would it look like if we did a 1.25 for everyone in the division? And what would it look like if there weren't any raises? So I just wanted to make sure that you were able to have a copy of this. You can see in the left-hand column is the previous year's budget. And so just towards the bottom, last year we were allocated the $14,855,000. And so on the very bottom, I've given you the difference of what that would look like. So if we had been approved at our original budget, that would be a 1.3 million increase. So on down the line, so that if we were at 0%, we would actually be asking for about $300,000 less than we did the previous year.
All right, board members have any questions, comments?
I appreciate.
I have
Yes, sir. Can you talk into the mic for me because I'm deaf?
I have a couple, not related to this, but, last year I received a couple of calls from parents about transportation as
Can't hear you,
kids.
sir.
So, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
There you are.
Okay,
Good evening.
good evening. Had a couple of calls about transportation.
Okay.
Had a lot of kids that, for some reason, the transportation didn't get to them. Some of the kids that ride in cars was in cars when one or two drivers were sick, they didn't have any substitutes, and those kids then wasn't able to attend school. Do we have all those things in place as far as those drivers and school bus drivers and car drivers?
So we do have things in place and we do have substitute drivers as well. I am only aware of 2 situations where we came up short on a driver, and actually the director of special education and myself had a conversation about taking a van out ourselves to drive those students to school. So if there are complaints that we're not aware of, if we could get them, that would be best so that we could address them, because typically that is not something that we're.
Yeah, I
seeing.
did call the school
sure.
board. I did call the school board.
Okay.
And about this situation, because it happened 2 days in a row. Those kids didn't get to school.
Understood. If you can let us know, like I said, we have had that happen 1 or 2 times with our special transportations in a car for some of the offsite programs that we have. Some of the private day placements that we use, but like I said, in those, we try to get very creative. Like I said, having myself or, our director of special education even drive those vans. So if they can call the school, and let us know, that would be great, but I'm not aware, that was a problem.
Yeah, I called and they were able to correct it, but,
Okay,
right,
great.
thank you.
All right, any other questions? Staff have any questions?
Okay, I have, so now I have a very exciting part. I have the gentleman from UHY with me to bring us up to speed
right.
on, what's been happening with the finances. I could ask them to come up, so. I'm gonna sit.
Hi, Jack Regan, REAGAN with UHY Advisors. It's good to see you guys again. We were hired a few weeks ago to assist the public schools in a couple of financial reporting and accounting matters. I'll go in order that we have worked on them. First one I'll characterize as tax matters. There were a couple of notices that came in from the tax authorities about underpayment of withholdings. We went through and reviewed the 23 calendar year tax filings for the federal government and the state government, the 24 calendar year filings for the federal government and the state government, and the first quarter 25 tax filings. We identified several clerical errors in the preparation of those returns that led to, I guess, the notices coming in from the tax authorities. We have prepared amended tax filings for both federal and for state. The net impact after we got through all of the revised filings is going to be about an additional $30,000 or so. So at the end of the day, it wasn't a terrible answer to that, but that was the first thing that we got called in to assist on, was to get to the bottom of what was causing or why the amounts that were really needed to be settled up in those years. So that was the tax matter. The second thing that we've been working on now is the fiscal year 25 results. First thing that we did there was to obtain a report of all of the outstanding purchase order amounts from the system, right? To try and see what funds had been encumbered. We met with the superintendent, we met with numerous staff to determine, one, whether or not those purchase orders were still needed, i.e. had all of the invoices been presented, all the goods been provided, all the services been rendered. Two, if all the goods and services had not been rendered, what were the amounts that really needed to be on those purchase orders to account for all the goods and services that had been rendered? Three, we asked for information for any purchase orders that were going to need to be entered into the system for goods and services that will be received through June 30th that were not already in the system. And fourth, we asked for any invoices that had not yet been entered into the system that needed to get charged against those purchase orders. And then fifth, we asked for any invoices they expected to get for services to be rendered between now and the end of June 30th. In all of those cases, we found that the information that was in the school's ledgers was incomplete and inaccurate. We found numerous instances where there were purchase orders that were in the system that were no longer needed. We found instances where purchase orders had not been entered for goods or services that had been procured by the schools. We found invoices that had not been paid because they didn't have a purchase order in the system and have been sitting around for months. So we have worked diligently with school board staff to get all that information brought as current as possible in the system. And we are doing basically weekly data calls to say, all right, last week you told us, here's how much you needed through June 30th. Is there anything else that has come up that you haven't previously told us about? In the 2 weeks that we've been doing that exercise, there have been additional items that we had previously asked for that were for transactions that occurred months ago that got presented to us after the initial data ask. So we have been working very diligently with staff to try and clear that information up. But all of those amounted to, again, several $100,000 worth of invoices, purchase orders, things like that, that had not been previously recorded and accounted for. So that was the second layer. But we wanted to make sure that we were getting all of the reimbursements from the federal government and the state government that we could, hopefully, to offset any of those. So we asked about the status of federal and state reimbursements for expenses that have been incurred on your grants that, you know, are payable by the state authorities and the federal authorities. The best source of information that we could get on the status of that was something called a cardinal report, which is a report that comes from the Commonwealth of Virginia that shows all of the cash that they have sent to the schools. We got that for the period July 1 through April 30th. Through looking at that report and inquiries of public school staff, we're able to determine that it did not look like reimbursement requests had been made since about January 1st of this year for expenses that were payable, reimbursable by the federal government and the state government. So working with staff, and the superintendent especially, who has really been driving this process very, very hard and very, very well, I might add. There were, I think it was a little over $800,000 worth of reimbursements that were submitted to the State Department of Education in early June that carried forward expense, well, that requested reimbursement for expenses that were incurred in January, February, March, and April of this year. So that leaves us May and June. So we've been working with staff to estimate the expenses that should be reimbursable and the revenues that should be expected to come in from the state and from the federal government to offset those reimbursable expenses for the May and June time period. So we've gone through all of that analysis. Also worked with the superintendent to look at payroll costs that are going to be incurred through year end. And based on the best information that I have today and the 2.5, 3 weeks that we've been working, my best estimate is that there's going to be about a $1.3 million shortfall against the budget for this year. So expenses over budget by about $1.3 million is what I'm estimating, based on what is admittedly a lot of estimates that are out there based on Costs have been incurred previously during the fiscal year and making projections that they were going to be incurred in May and June, and other estimates that staff have done, but the information is not the greatest in the world. I've got to be very candid about that. But based on what I know today, $1.3 million looks like the shortfall.
Let me interrupt you, Joe. You said the information is not the greatest. A little more detail into that.
Pardon me?
You said the information is not the greatest.
Yeah, well, I just
Could you explain
detailed, I just detailed a bunch of the information quality issues on the fact that their, purchase orders weren't entered in timely. I have not done any procedures where I've gone out to folks' desks and looked to see if there are any invoices or unrecorded purchase orders in desk drawers. Some of the information in the estimates on expenses to be incurred, to be reimbursed, are based on, staff estimates that I have not gone underneath and tried to audit, the completeness of those. I've compared those to receipts from the state for comparable programs in 23 and 24, and the estimates didn't seem unreasonable. But again, I've not only been out here doing this for 2.5 weeks, so I haven't had a chance to do the audits, but the books and records were not in very good condition at all around that. I know the superintendent has been having some very tough, very candid conversations with staff as we have been peeling back the layers of the onion here on especially getting purchase orders entered into the system on a timely basis and getting the reimbursement requests in timely to the Commonwealth.
You keep mentioning the staff. I know the superintendent's included, but how many staff?
Can't hear you.
How many staffs are you referring to?
I think we've had conversations with half a dozen or so folks, who own the various, especially the ones that own the various grant programs that are driving the costs.
Have you met with any of the school board members?
I personally have not met with any school board members.
Okay.
They don't or do?
Do not.
So to complete your job, you guys have had a lot of asks of school employees. Would you say that they have been cooperative?
They have been cooperative to the extent that they had knowledge of what was going on. But there are a lot of incomplete answers and gaps in folks' knowledge where they don't know where certain transactions were initiated, processed, or recorded from. It's actually very typical in organizations of this size where there has historically been a strong separation between the program side delivering and the accounting and finance side, that anytime something crosses over from the program side to the finance side, everybody sort of points fingers at the other one that they should know. Nobody knows. And now I'm left trying to pull together at best what is, again, incomplete information.
So some of the information that you received, you said it took a couple of asks to get it. You're not implying that that was withheld?
I can't say whether it was or wasn't withheld. To clarify, we asked when we initially came in, we wanted everything that could possibly be due and payable as of today or through June 30th. We asked for that in so many words back 2-3 weeks ago when we first did a data call. There have been invoices that have come in. There have been purchase orders that have come in this week for items that, for invoices with an invoice date of October, November, December of 2024 that didn't come in that first round when we asked for it, that came in, this week. I do not know if that was an error of omission or an error of commission. All I know is that I got something this week that a previous data call should have covered.
So this 1.3 mil, that's above the 800,000 that you get back on reimbursements?
Yes,
Think you got the $800,000?
Don't they,
that is pure overspending.
don't they know how to spend to a budget?
I got a
I think things speak for themselves in that regard.
Would this shortfall have been realized if UHY wasn't in here now?
Probably in the fall when the auditors come in to audit the financial statements.
Would you repeat that again? Which you just said? I missed the first 4 or 5 words you said.
Oh, that, the question was, when would this have been discovered if it
Yes.
wasn't us?
I
Said
didn't hear the first 4 or 5.
I said probably in the fall, when the independent auditors come in to do the audit of the fiscal year 25 books.
That would have been discovered.
Maybe.
Hmm?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. That's if the auditor was
Well,
digging through anything.
One of the audit techniques we use is to compare this year's to last year's. And because of the incomplete information and one of the other instances we saw, and I don't want to get too into the weeds, but you opened it a little bit, is on that Cardinal report that came in that showed me everything that had come in from the state. One of the first things we did was to compare that report to what had been recorded in the general ledger. And we identified things on that report, which we know were deposited in the bank, that hadn't been recorded in the general ledger. So there were several $100,000 worth of cash receipts from the Commonwealth that got to the bank, but had not been recorded in the general ledger.
So I'm getting ready to open it up a little more. So is this due to lack of training, lack of policy? What's the cause? What's the driving force behind it?
I have been so focused on trying to get to a number to present to the superintendent and to the school board and to you, that I haven't had a whole lot of time to focus on the whys or the hows on all of this. But I think both of those items that you brought up, which were a lack of written policies and procedures, I think that that's a contributing factor. I think that a lack of training, again, is another contributing factor on that. But we've worked together for a couple of years now, this group together with me. I think there has been a culture of, we've got to spend what we need to spend out there. If I were to also, just the fact that, there is spending that is occurring without a purchase order being entered into the system tells me that, some very basic, good, sound financial management principles are not being followed.
You think much training and or a purchase order into a system, right?
I do not believe that it does.
How much longer are you here? Through the end of the month
For what?
to help, to continue to assist the school system?
Until you kick us out.
Okay,
We're here to assist the county and the schools in stabilizing the financial management controls. I had too much equity in this game. I'm not going anywhere.
okay. It's kind of the answer I wanted to hear.
Yep.
Hope it's got a nice place
and-
to stay.
Yeah, he's gonna be here for a while.
Okay,
But the tone has been set at the top by the superintendent, who is communicating the right things about implementing sound financial management controls very forcibly. I think this board is also, based on my experience of working with you, is taking very affirmative steps as well to setting that tone at the top as we talk about an internal control structure from an accounting standpoint. That's one of the most important things that can be done, is having that tone set at the top about that. And I think between what the superintendent is doing in her role and in your school board's oversight roles, I have a feeling that the tone at the top is going to be set extraordinarily well from here on out. The next step is going to be developing the strong, straightforward policies and procedures. I'm not talking War and Peace here, right? We're going to help develop some very strong, very straightforward policies, procedures. So for example, on the payroll tax withholding, you know, we have already developed a policy memo that says, get this report from RDA, drop this number on this part of the tax form, drop this number on this part of the tax form, so that whoever needs to pick that up to prepare the quarterly filing for June 30th is going to have a very straightforward step-by-step instruction on how to do that, so that that at least does not happen again.
As long as it's being followed.
So what I was going to bring up, Mr. Chair, is that the other part of this is that it does have to get monitored. There needs to be a monitoring control
Yes,
in
it
there
does.
that makes sure that folks are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
that's the step that we're trying to move forward in getting that finance correct.
I think that's an imperative step. Yes, sir.
Jump back for a minute. You threw out a $30,000 figure a little while ago. That was for penalties, solely penalties.
No, that is a net amount that is taxes due. I'd have to go back and look and see if that included any penalties that were out there, but you know, there was an underpayment of the amounts that were withheld. And there might be some penalties and interest involved in that, but we've also drafted up some correspondence to both the Commonwealth and to the federal tax authorities to ask them to consider waiving those, given this is a
This is a new situation.
municipal government.
This is a new situation that you're speaking of.
No, the current situation. Yeah, under the current notices.
Your professional opinion to date, as we speak, are we done with tax problems?
Yeah, based on what I've seen, yes, sir. Yeah, we have gone back and recalculated, well, we've recalculated 23, 24, first quarter 25. Not going to speak to anything before 23,
Understand.
but
Understand that.
we have recalculated ourselves everything that was for calendar year 23, calendar year 24, first quarter 25.
Hopefully no more surprises then, because we had the beginning surprise and then we had another surprise. I hope we have no more. And that's my question to you.
That's our goal, is by going through and filing all of the amended returns and then leaving behind the detailed memo on how to prepare anything going forward, that folks will be able to, and to the extent that we're here, we'll review any of those filing, the June filings, we'll review in July to make sure that they were done appropriately by staff.
How much of this could have been prevented if the books had been reconciled? Or would that have any contributing factor on it at all?
It's hard to say with the fact that there were purchases being made without being recorded in the ledger. It's kind of hard to pick up on the way that would have been picked up on is if there's a report run at the end of the month and say that we're at the end of March. So we're 3/4 of the way through the year. And you look at the budget that you have remaining and you have 75% of your budget remaining, but you're 75% of the way through the year, that would, that variance would be the indicator that something looks wrong. But the reconciliation control would not capture a transaction that had never been recorded because there's nothing to reconcile it against. So the back end control that's there, that's so important, is to run these monthly budget to actual reports that, get submitted to those with the budgetary authority. So department directors, program directors, those. And for the most part, I believe there aren't a lot of peaks and valleys necessarily in expenditures. There might be a little bit of a blip, tick up in July and August as you ramp up for school. There might be a little bit of a tick up in December and January as you ramp up for the spring semester. But for the most part, things are sailing along pretty smoothly throughout the year. So if you're sitting 9 months through the year, you should be roughly 75% of the way through your budget. And if you're, 80% of the way through your budget or above, or 70% of the way through the budget and below, you should be asking yourself why. And that communication can come from the superintendent, that can come from the director of finance, but those answers will need to be given by the staff that own that budget. But that's part of the monthly budget to actual. It should be done to put the bow on the financial status of the organization.
When you presented the county with your findings of the forensic audit, and we had someone stand before us and tell this board that there were measures being taken to prevent some of these things from reoccurring, it's disappointing that evidently that didn't happen, because look where we're at. It continued, the bad habits continued. And that's very disappointing, because every county employee in here and every citizen in here has been hurt by this.
Well, and we can see very clearly, the data very clearly indicates that, it's really at the turn of the year where we can see that, especially on the reimbursable revenue side from the state, where those transactions just stopped happening. And those transactions, many of those transactions, there are certain revenue sources that come in every 2 weeks like clockwork without the schools having to do anything. They're just like the lottery proceeds, shared lottery proceeds. The state just kicks those over every 2 weeks like clockwork. But there are other transactions where you have to, the school board has to go in to a state system and initiate a reimbursement request. And when we pulled down that Cardinal report, it was very clear to us where we could see transactions were occurring in the first 6 months of the fiscal year. They weren't timely either. We could see, in September, or in October, it looked to be 2 months worth of transactions coming in 1 month of October. But it was very clear that there were no transactions in January, February, March, April for several pretty significant revenue sources. So something happened in and around that time. Again, I have not dove into the whys or the hows, but I'm just telling you what the data is telling me.
Well, for the ones that's done a good job in making some changes and getting this cleaned up. You know, I appreciate that, but I'm gonna tell you what, I think if I were in their shoes, I don't know if I'd want to wouldn't even gotten involved with that mess. That was a lot to take on for a lot of people to try to get straight. And it's still a lot to get straight.
There is still work to be done, but the ship is turning on that. Fortunately or unfortunately, this is not my first time through a situation like this. So I've been leaning pretty heavily in the analysis that we've been doing on my prior experience, both with the federal government and local governments, on entities that are in trouble from a financial reporting control standpoint, and making recommendations. Implementable recommendations is the thing. I could come in and say you need to hire 10 people, and you're not going to be able to hire 10 people. But given the staff that you've got, we've got to give you concrete, implementable recommendations that are achievable in order to stir this around.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. At some point, we're going to meet, and I'm going to give some good news.
We're waiting for that.
I know, I'm trying.
That would be very nice to hear some good news.
No, it's coming.
Well, I think with the culture that the superintendent is going to be establishing, I think given a couple of months' time, I think you will see significant improvements in the quality of the financial information that comes out. And we're here to support the superintendent, the school board, you, and the citizens of the county in that regard. You know, it's as tough as the environment is and as stressful as it is, at this point in my life, this is probably my highest and best use is to work with entities like this that need the help. And I very much appreciate the opportunity that you guys have given to me and my firm to assist you.
You haven't spoken to the school board, have you?
I have not spoken with the school board. We're in daily almost hourly communication with the superintendent.
Yeah.
School board's still familiar with everything that you just reported to us, though, right?
I can't speak to what's been communicated to the school board.
That's what I was saying.
So at this point, they did not get the rundown that you just got. I have been in communication with them. Our primary focus, like Mr. Reagan said, was to really come up with that number, since I had presented you something back in April, but didn't feel confident about it. So we've been trying to get at that number so that we could be sure that we could finish the year. So I'm certain that we will be able to set something up, but they were only able to finish their work this afternoon because it has, as Mr. Reacher, I would call him that. Mr. Reagan has said it has continued to come at them. So they are continuing to field what's coming in.
What's the financial staff? How many financial staff members do you have?
So at central office, there are
Yes.
two,
Two.
and then each of the schools has a school-based bookkeeper as well.
We have a joint meeting on the 17th. Why couldn't Reagan be a part of that?
Could Mr. Reagan come and give the same presentation? At least one of the school board members has gotten it tonight.
That's what I'm concerned about. School
I
board.
appreciate you coming.
I know we got other business to.
Hopefully the school board will be more involved. I hope they'll be on the 17th. I don't see but one.
Well, yeah,
I like to.
I would certainly think that they really need to hear this, just how bad it really is. And
Certainly. So, as I said, they were able to finish their work this evening, so it was very timely. And we did push that deadline, knowing that we were coming to see you and that you certainly would want to have a ballpark. But I'm certain that we can get this information explained at question time.
That's on the 17th at 1 PM. I don't know if Mr. Reagan will be able to attend or not.
Sounds like I'm going to be attending a meeting at 1 PM on the 17th.
Thank you, sir. Hate to put you on the spot like that.
Not the first time.
All right. All right, gentlemen, any other questions? Well, we've had a lot of bad news today, so
Good news too.
Thank you for your time.
thank you, sir.
Well, that's
Thank you
good
for all
news.
your help.
That's all right.
Dr. Leslie, you have anything else you need to say tonight?
I'm sorry, no, sir. I just really wanted to thank the gentleman at UHY, and there's some ladies too working remotely. They've been amazing, huge help. So
All right.
just wanted to make that statement.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Good.
Plus eight. All right. Next, y'all ready to move on, gentlemen? The update from Virginia Department of Transportation. Mr. Beal has changed a little bit tonight.
Good try. Yes, yes, it has.
Yep.
Good try.
Sweet too.
Give us some good news. You're gonna start pulling districts.
Todd, how you doing today?
How y'all doing? Good to see y'all. I think David sent y'all report of what's been going on in the county. Just a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Secondary and primary mowing has just started this week and trash pickup. So they are picking up trash and cutting the grass on the secondary and the primary. Also, paving is scheduled to start next week in Callio. I think they're starting in the town of Callio. It's gonna be the first place, but we've got a huge paving project this year. I think it runs all the way runs from Village to Lotsburg. Everything will be paved on that end this year. So that is starting supposed to start next week. For that. So there will be some delays and this and that going through on that end of the county for a while, but that is starting. All our surface treatment and our Cape Seal paving is complete. I think we're still waiting on a few places for the permanent lines to be put down, but other than that, that's been completed. Other than that, that's our main highlights right now. That's all I have on that. Y'all got any questions?
Yes,
Any questions from the board?
yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good to see you, Todd.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, Mr. Long.
Well, look like you're still in high school.
Don't swell it.
Look, London Road and, Northumberland Highway connects,
Where's that at?
London Road.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, when you pull up to the stop sign, when those two roads connect, it's grass where you can't see down the road.
Okay.
All right,
That should be cut tomorrow. It
good.
should be, that should be down that far tomorrow, tomorrow by Saturday.
Okay, Brownstone Road,
Mhm.
it's a hole right when you turn, on that road coming from, 360. 509, 905, I think it is. One of those, by the church right on the corner in Wanka.
Okay, off of 200. right
Off
there.
200, yeah.
Okay.
It's a hole right in the road. And on that same road, by the apartments, we need some grass cut down that road.
Okay.
All right,
That should be done soon too.
all right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay.
Nothing, Mr. Williams, Mr. Bryan?
Nope.
Mr. Fisher? No, sir. I don't think there's anything else.
Thank you.
Todd, appreciate seeing you here.
Yes, sir. Good to see y'all.
All right, thank
Okay.
you, sir. All right, next item we have is county administrator's report. Ms. Tadlock?
Yes, sir. For the month of May, we had 10 new structures. Total construction cost 5.4 million. Total construction cost year to date, 26.5 million, which is approximately $321,000 above this time last year. We have several appointments and reappointments. The first one is the appointment for the Northern Neck Planning District Commission. And we have the individual John Cost being recommended for that position.
Cost, you ready to serve again?
Well, this would be a new thing, but my wife would appreciate getting me out of the house for one more thing, so feel free.
All right. Well. I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Cost.
Second.
I got a motion second. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm on that commission and working with Henry Lane Hull and working with, Mr. Tadlock. We had this position and, I solely support it. I recommended him and I believe he's going to do a good job.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to working with him.
Okay. Good.
Now back to your motion.
All right, we've got a motion. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, Mr. Cost, that will keep you at the house a little bit longer. Thank you, sir.
The next item is a reappointment of Marthea Haney to the local board of social services.
I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint her. She's doing a good job.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, got a motion second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right,
Next is a reappointment for George Beckett to the Anti-Litter Committee at large member.
motion to approve, Mr. Beckett. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All against? All right,
Next item is a supplemental appropriation for insurance reimbursement to line item 3102-3012 in the amount of $1,263.50.
it's a pleasure to the board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All against? All right,
Next is the supplemental appropriation of the funds received for the sale of the sheriff vehicle to go to 9103-7029 in the amount of $2,734.05.
Move that we approve.
all right, got a motion to have second.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All against?
Next is the state reimbursement for CSA services for April 2025. And that's in the amount of $6,396.35 going to 5302-6002.
That money coming into the county?
That's money coming into the county from the state.
Okay.
All right, what's pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I got a motion to approve. To have second. Got a all right, motion second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All against?
Next item is a supplemental appropriation for the local match for CSA services to 5302-6002 in the amount of $40,000. And that is for the IEPs, which are mandated.
Make a motion that we approve.
I got a motion to have a second.
I have a question.
Somebody give me a second first. All right. Any comments now?
Sure. So this was originally included in our agenda at a different amount. The ask was $10,000 higher. What was the conversation that brought it to $40,000?
I can't quite hear you all the time.
Could not hear me?
Couldn't
The
hear you.
original
all.
ask was for $50,000
Yes,
for this VSA Act, and now it's at 40. I'm just asking how we got down to that number.
So I went back to the Director of Social Services who manages the CSA portion of this. and asked to rerun the numbers since some time had passed since the original submission. And she went back and recalculated the figures and determined that she felt like she could do with the 40,000 versus the 50,000.
Did that give you answer you needed?
Yeah, it answers my question, but just don't know why they asked for 50,000 to start with.
Nice number.
I think in some aspects, she was looking to make sure she had the cost covered rather than having to come back to the board. She's had to come back several times. So I think that may be part of it. I don't want to speak for her, but I have a feeling that's what part of it is.
All right, any other comments, questions?
And just to clarify, this is local monies. This is not state monies.
But it comes out of the contingency.
Comes out of the contingency fund.
Okay, well, since we still have, well, I'll bring it up later. We can't keep going to the well. Well, drying up.
Those are things that I think
Yeah.
we ought to have though. Thanks.
Yep. All right, any other comments on this?
I'd like to have more information.
More information? We have a motion on the floor,
Well, motion on the floor.
unless you want to withdraw your motion. All right, since the motion's not going to be withdrawn, I ask for a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those against?
Aye.
Aye. Motion doesn't pass. Bring us more information.
I'll have Ms. Clayton.
Yeah. Have her come.
And I'd like to clarify the reason I brought that up. Because I think any supplemental appropriations that's gonna be coming into the general fund from now on, when they put in these requests, they need to come and present to give us a good reason why it needs to be funded, because the money is getting scarce. And we're not gonna be able to fund everything with, just because they present us with this paperwork, doesn't mean it's gonna get funded.
Put it in the form of motion now. Go ahead and put it in form of motion.
Okay. I'll put in form of a motion that for now on supplemental appropriations regarding the use of contingency funds that the department head putting in the paperwork comes and presents for the board.
All right. Got a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we got a second. Any other discussion on this?
I'll just say it's likely that this is a necessity.
Right.
It's also a necessity that we hear why.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and if it is, I don't have any problem in making that happen.
All right, any other comment? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 4-1.
All right, the next item are the opioid abatement settlement funds. This is for the March and April interest accrued, going to 5102-3200 in the amount of $71.29.
Gentlemen, motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against? All right. Motion passes, Mr. Tadlock.
All right, the next item we have is a request from the Sanitary District regarding the Callio wastewater treatment plant membrane. And Mr. Willard is here.
Come on up, Mr. Willett.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Got off that hard chair for a minute.
All right. Tell us something, Tell
Well,
us something about what you're looking for.
you should have got a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, we did get a lot of paperwork.
Hope everybody's had a chance to go through it. But basically, we're at the Callio
wastewater plant, we're in the need to replace the membrane filters at the facility. As you can look back through the timeline that I provided y'all, I'm trying to find it real quick. They were replaced back in 2022 on the warranty. And that warranty has now expired and we're having issues with them again. The manufacturer is not standing by them. They're stating that they met their 10-year warranty and would assist us in purchasing new ones. So that's why I'm here now. I have been working on this since February. It's taken a lot of time to obtain all of this information. One, I'm trying to make sure that what we do purchase will be supporting of the system and obtain better results and be able to handle more wastewater flow at the plant. We're currently permitted for 60,000 gallons a day. With what we have in filters, we're pushing around 30,000 a day through it, and that's about at max. With these new filters, if they are purchased, we should be able to obtain at least 58,000 gallons a day if we need to. So we have room for expansion for that in that part. I'm not happy with how Vivo treated us with that warranty. I don't know how the county obtained a 10-year warranty from the beginning back in, I guess it was 2014. Right now, as you can see in the paperwork, they were offering a 1-year warranty with them, and if we wanted anything else, it'd be an extended warranty on a 1-year basis at a time at $10,000 a year. So things have really changed since 2014. But this product that they're proposing is a better filter. It's the backbone of the facility. If we do not have it in place, we will not be able to treat anything. So if they go down, we would have to pump and haul from Callio to the Reva facility on a daily basis. So we do not want to see that. We found out what the cost with that using all these septic trucks when the force main broke in Reedville, so it can get costly hauling that amount of fluid on a daily basis.
We satisfied that they did fulfill their expectations with the warranty that they provided. My understanding that we have made 2 warranty claims. And it's this third claim that they're rejecting, is that right?
Correct. Then in 2022, they replaced both of them. The filters that were put in place that they gave us under warranty, we had like a year and eight months left of warranty. I did not know at the time, but those filters were 7 years old when they were provided to us. They had been sitting in a storage location for that amount of time. And the reasoning is that they gave us a product that lasts through the end of that warranty that we had.
How urgent is the replacement of these membranes in your opinion?
As you can see, if we place an order tomorrow, we're looking at 12 to 14 weeks just for them to be delivered. We have put some patches on the current one that we have now. It's a self-sealing membrane, but what happens is that if they tear too fast, you can't put enough patches on. So we're currently not running the flow rate that we need to. We've cut them back to make sure that we can be supportive of what we had the problem. So we're getting all these big heavy rain events, inch or two at a time that we were seeing. It puts us behind the 8 ball every day during those. So it's just a matter of time.
So that's 12 weeks.
Yep.
How long is it going to take to install them?
It shouldn't take no more than 2 days.
That's minor. Cost on replacement.
Yeah, and that figure was the discounted price that, Man and Hummel gave us for the two membranes. The freight, we would have to, get a crane come in to set them, pull the old ones out, put the new ones in. And then it was another company that would have to come in and do some modification to some of the piping. So that the new filters would actually fit the frames that we're currently using.
Would it be worth having an expert like Mr. Gregory look over the warranty to see whether they are fulfilling our expectations?
My
with
next
it?
question.
Yeah, 7-year filter, given, after been sitting in the warehouse for 7 years, that should have went in the garbage can.
I'll take that back. It had been in storage for 7 years, but it was stored in the proper conditions for that filter should not have been anything wrong with it, put it that way. But as you can see, something's wrong with them.
But there was no life in that filter, so something was wrong, something went wrong somewhere.
Correct.
Mr. Gregory, what do you think about looking over that warranty?
I'd be happy to look over the contract.
Could we have Mr. Gregory do that? And
Yeah.
potentially make a move on it, Tuesday?
Yep.
That give you enough time to?
I don't know if that gives me enough time for you to.
Oh, I thought you were gonna look it over now.
About a minute. So, I don't know if I'll be able to give you a full rundown.
You can stay late today.
One thing too,
Tuesday.
yeah, one thing too, we've got to find it. So we've got to look for that. I do not have any,
Yeah, minor detail, right?
yes.
That may be the problem.
It might be the problem. I've got the performance of what we needed to do to fulfill the requirements for the warranty, but I do not have the fine print. Hopefully that's on file.
All right. And what was the cost of the filters? Or which do you recommend that we purchase?
Let me find that paperwork. It was I've got too much here.
You're gonna need the overall cost of everything.
Yeah, we're gonna need, well, we need to know.
Just for the filters, the freight, the modifications and the crane rental, we were looking at 65,430.
You said modifications too,
Modifications also,
and crane,
and crane.
says 65, say 66,000. Again. Got to dig in there again.
And manufacturer has said, under ideal circumstances, they should last 5 to 7 years. So definitely needs to be put into the CIP plan.
DIP, yep,
To look at doing this again.
yep. Have money set aside by the 5th year for most of it.
Yes.
All right. You don't want to wait till Mr. Gregory has a chance?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Woolley?
That's all I have.
Any questions from the board or questions from the staff for Mr. Woolley?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I know you didn't ask, but I would suggest move forward with the project. And if there's a warranty claim made, that could be made on a parallel track. You don't need to wait on the project in
Yeah.
order to make a warranty claim. So
All right, you could.
I would just offer that for your consideration.
All right.
If there's an exigency.
Well, yep, if you can go ahead and warrant it, try to warrant it. All right. Is that all right with,
Right, I think that's the right.
everyone, what, Mr. Gregory said?
Make a motion that we move forward.
We're not ready to move forward on this yet.
Yeah, look, whatever he needs.
Any other comments from the board on this?
Sometimes when you pay people for for the full project for a contractor, for example, you might not get the same service as if you were to hold some of your money back until they fulfill their requirements.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
I'm listening.
I mean, but you know more about it than we do.
I can give you credit that since the claim was submitted, I had, and finding out they were 7 years old, I have been on them back and forth for a lot of emails, and I have been able to not get anything out of them. So they have driven the nail in and saying they're done. So I've tried.
Well, I guess they're not gonna give in no way, so.
I don't think so. And it's, you know, it's a lot more to it than just a warranty. They have got pages and pages of data that we are supposed to be able to give them for the performance of the membranes, and we have it, it's there, but they don't have a way to log into the system to see that data, but it's a lot to it.
Hi, John.
I'll second Mr. Long's motion, but still would like for Mr. Gregory to have a chance to look through the warranty.
All right, okay. All right, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
This is the warranty that expired in 2023.
Yes, yes.
That's a long time ago. As far as warranties go.
Yeah.
If it was yesterday or last week or a month ago, one thing. That's all.
All right. Okay, any other discussion?
Does that motion include the max amount of 65,430, or is it? I just want clarification as we write this motion up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Max amount. Just want to make sure. All right, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against? All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item I have is for the Department of Emergency Services. They use a software called a LADTech for their time clock and time management software. And they have a proposal for either an annual contract or a 5-year contract. The 5-year contract does save $3,394.04 over the course of the 5 years. I don't know if you have any specific questions related to that. The total 5-year contract would be $18,059.56 billed annually.
18,000, the total contract's 18,000.
The total contract, if you went with the 5-year plan, year 1 through 4 would be $3,590.37 annually. In year 5, you would see a slight increase, $3,698.08.
All right, board have any questions? Mr. Ballison, you have any comments you want to make?
Good evening. The comments related to it is that, as you can see, this will be a savings for us over the course of the 5 years versus doing a year by year billing. As Mr. Tadlock had stated, we use this for our time management, our scheduling, and we also use it as a record management system. So a lot of our documents that we use throughout the organization are being put onto this platform. So it's an important platform to us, and we're looking to be able to use this as a good news, as you would say, Mr. Haney, for you of a savings over the course of 5 years. But since it is a 5-year contract, talking with Mr. Tadlock, felt it would be best to come before you to approve that 5-year contract.
How is this funded in the budget?
This would be, of course, billed for next fiscal year.
But what do you have in the budget? For this, you would have had the 1 year?
I would have to go back. I can pull that information unless you know.
It's about, I believe it's about $4,600.
Could, we use what's budgeted in the budget for this and use some of the EMS revenue recovery money to pay the balance of it? If that's a. If Mr. Ball is okay with that.
And don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say this, is that they're billing us each year based off of that price. We're not paying 18,000 up front.
Up front, okay.
We're paying, if we sign the contract, they're billing us the 3,900
Okay.
per
okay.
year.
It's,
Yes.
yeah, it's an annual.
They're just locking us into that for 5 years. Yep.
You got 46.
Yeah, so we're actually saving money every year in the budget by doing this.
Motion to approve.
I got a motion to have second.
Second.
All right, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
I was confused.
All against?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes.
All right.
Next item we have is a surplus vehicle from the sheriff's office. It's a 2016 Ford Police Interceptor Utility. Last for the VIN is 5504.
All right, what's pleasure, of the board?
Yeah, let's see this.
What's pleasure, of the board?
These vehicles been sold, correct?
No, they have to be surplus by the board prior to them being placed on gov deals. So they have not been sold yet.
Okay.
Make a motion that we go ahead and approve it.
Yeah, second.
All right. Motion second. Do we, excuse me, have a motion second. Do we have any other discussion? One thing, can we use any of these vehicles in any other spot in the county?
If you'd like, I can check on one or two departments.
I'm just putting it out there in case we do need something.
Yeah, I mean, if not, I can bring it back to the board Tuesday.
Is that all right with the board? Mr.
Be all right.
Mr. Fisher, you want to withdraw your motion
Yeah.
or what? And wait till Tuesday?
Yeah, just also, if you would, before I do that, would you check with the sheriff?
I was gonna check with him.
Check with the sheriff and make sure that he hasn't put that money aside for something special or something. Yes, I'll withdraw it till Tuesday.
All right. All right, motions are withdrawn. Second, okay, all right. We'll revisit this back on Tuesday, the 17th.
Mr. Haney, the sheriff would like to speak. He's online.
Oh, it's online? Sheriff Beecham, go ahead, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. So before I request surplus, I kind of look at these vehicles to see if they are something that another department can use without spending a lot of money. And it's of my opinion that this car would cost any other department some money to maintain or fix. So that was my reason for surplus. And I mean, you're welcome to look at it, of course, but I'm just trying to save you some time.
Okay, all right, well, that gives me the answer, one answer that I was looking for right there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. Or any other board members have any questions for Sheriff Beecham? All right,
So, Fisher, you want to keep the.
you want to
Go ahead and reinstate my motion.
reinstate your motion?
Yes, thank you.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against? All right.
Next is another vehicle to be surplus. This is the sanitary district. It's a 2007 Chevy Colorado, last four of the VIN 5572.
All right. What's the pleasure of the board, gentlemen?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Motion is second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right.
We have received the bids for the fuel. I'm not going to ask for any action by the board tonight. I'll bring that back to the board on Tuesday. Several questions have come up, that we just want some clarification on. So we'll bring that back to the board. Going back to the CSA funding, I believe, Ms. Clayton is online. If you'd like to, hear from her.
Ms. Clayton?
Yes, I am online. Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening, Ms. Clayton. Board members have it? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I've been listening. I'm on my phone. If I had known you wanted to see me, I would have came. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I did hear the questions. You want to ask me again, or you just want me to kind of explain what happened?
Would you comment, ma'am?
Yes. Okay. So CSA is, of course, as you know, a county program that we administer for the county. It's really hard to budget because it contains the individual education plans that are mandated by federal law and state law for the children that are needing school services. The majority of those payments, I think so far over 500,000, are for school services. So there's different match rates. It's really hard to guess who's going to all of a sudden, with a 5-day notice, be moved from the public school to the private school. Private schools run 300 to 400, well, 250 to 350 a day. This month, when Mr. Tadlock called me and said, can we do anything about your request? I had my CSA coordinator start at the very beginning of the year and go through every expense, subtract the Medicaid match, which the county has to pay, the local match, which the county has to pay, kind of see what we're still waiting, because sometimes the Medicaid match comes out all at one time for 3 months. That's what happened on the supplement for the $6,000. You see, the county paid about 40,000. We only got 6,000 back because all these matches were coming out. We talked to CSA. We asked if there was any way to really pinpoint it. They said, not really, that's the federal government. So we went through, back to that, we went through every charge. It's the end of the year for DSS as well. So we had some DSS money for supporting families. We were able to reverse some charges. Mr. Tadlock comes to CPMT quite often, so he knows at the end of the year, I try to reverse anything I can from state money and put it back to the county. So we got down, and it looked like we got down, to be exact, to about 36,000 and some change. Of course, I didn't want to cut it that close because a match may come out, or another day we may get billed for. We were able to save some days because we encumber for the whole year. And there were some snow days, but most schools have ended. So we were really able to project through the end of June. And that's about what it looked like on my part. But it's state law, it's federal law. The school hands me the IEPs and we have to pay them.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, ma'am, it does. Board members, you have any other questions?
I just got a comment. At first, thank you for calling in for the explanation. And I just felt like with that amount of money, we needed a little more of an explanation, especially in the financial climate that we are in right now. But thank you for calling in and giving us that explanation.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Any other board members have any comments or questions? All right. Ms. Clayton, thank you very much for calling in, and thank you for the information.
Thank you.
All right. Board members, what's your pleasure on that?
All right, make a motion that we move forward on a request.
All right, got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second, and that's for the 40,000. All right. All right, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, motion passes. All right, Mr. Tadlock,
All right, that's all I had.
that's all you have. Any committee reports?
Hey, let's get a break. 10-minute break.
All right, we don't have any committee reports. Check register, gentlemen. Hope you've had time to
Move that.
look at that.
Yeah. I make a motion that we move forward on a check register.
All right. Got a motion to have second?
Second.
All right, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All against? All right. Board comments?
That is it.
No, sir.
Mr. Williams, you don't have anything tonight? Mr. Long?
Yes, quite a few. One, Mr. Tadlock, could you inform those who are in charge of that solid waste site? Disley used to have 2 people. And you know, that's the large. This is like site receive more trash than any other site. And they don't have but 1. They used to have 2. Would you check and see if we can get a second person over there that this is a site?
I don't know that they've had 2.
Yeah, they had
attendants.
2. Yeah, they had 2.
Okay.
They sure did.
I'll follow up with them.
Yeah, follow up with them on that. Okay, and the other thing, you know, I believe all the areas in the county had flags up during the last holiday we had. Except the county seat. Right here, in this part of the county. We need to make sure that we have some when that happen again. Like I know Callaway had them, Breedville had them. The county seat didn't have any of them. And I got a lot of calls on that. And we should have those flags up during that time. Anytime we have holidays like we just had. You didn't see the flags down your place? I did. Okay, I know they were. So, yeah. We need
Thank
to
you for
write-
bringing that up too.
Huh?
Thank you for bringing that up, but that needs to be taken care of.
Right.
We got another holiday coming up here very soon.
Right,
Flags need to be up for that also.
right. Okay, that's all I have.
Mr. Brand?
We have at July meeting, a discussion that you had already put on the agenda, economic development. Some county property. I would like to make sure that Mr. Kinsey's here and the folks from the economic development group are here as well for that discussion.
Thank you for bringing it. That's real. I forgot that.
We need to take a look at some of this county property and see what we can do. To make some improvements to draw some people here. For an example, take the poorhouse track. I know that's, it's not a whole lot we can do with it because it's got some burial sites on it and all, but what can we do to make it a historical site? And maybe open that up in the future to some walking trails, some trails to ride horses. That's just throwing something out there. And where can we find the funding to do that as well? But we gotta start focusing on bringing some things in the county like this, and we got to put an effort into doing that. We need some businesses here, and we got some county property that we could maybe offer some incentives, but I'll save the rest of that discussion for our meeting in July. With the $1.3 million that the school has overspent this year. Where's that gonna leave a contingency fund now? I think you sent something in, it had a little over 2 million or 2.3 million left in it, so now we're gonna be down to 1.
Less than one. Problem.
Okay, well, we just added another 106,000 to that tonight. So my point is, we need to stop and think hard on how we spend some money for now on and start putting some money back in this thing. I know what we approved tonight, one is mandated, and the other is if we don't make that improvement, sewer plant's gonna be shut down. But moving forward, we need to tighten the belt a little. A lot. And do you know the increase for waste management? I think it was like an 8%, but do you have a dollar amount to that yet?
I have not received a dollar amount for each pool or tonnage pool.
Okay,
And just for clarification, the sanitary district upgrade would come out of the sanitary district fund
Okay.
and not out of the general
okay,
fund.
that's
So
good news. Okay,
it's a separate fund, just for clarification.
all right, that's all I have.
You know, that's a good point. I don't think either one of it was on the board at that time.
Mr. Long,
At one time.
I just can't hear you, Mr. Long.
At one time, we had a problem and we had to have an emergency tax. None of you was on the board. Something came up where we needed money. You wasn't on it.
We'd borrow some money at one time.
Right. So, just want to bring it up because we need to have them here to talk about this land that we have in the county. That's all.
All right. Is that all, Mr. Long?
That's it.
Mr. Brown, you have anything else?
I'm done.
All right, Mr. Fisher?
Oh, last meeting, I gave each of you the current ordinance on the grass cutting and removal of trash from property in Northumberland County. Spoken to Luttrell since then, and we're going to put a committee together as we spoke then. Also, there are some citizens in the county that want to work with us on this committee to upgrade the current regulation. We had Stewart's people coming today and talk to us about the county cleaning up in the county, putting out trash bags and this, that, and the other. I think she said, make it cleaner and more attractive. We've got properties throughout the county that need a little cleaning up, to say the least. And what we have on the books, I don't see how you can work with it. It's ancient, needs revisions. So with that in mind, we're gonna work on this together with the help of the attorney and make sure that everything is fair and legal to everybody, so everybody has a fair shake at this. And I'm gonna be looking for support from the board, once it gets in, to get it passed and get it on the books so we can clean the county up a little bit. And with that in mind, we've also got a lot of good people in the county that want to work with this,
That's what I hear.
want to work with this and help out.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we can get them on board.
I agree, but I'd like to see at least 1 or 2 representatives from each district on that committee.
If we can get the volunteers, absolutely. We can get the volunteers. Just a brief update so that it's coming at you. And I want you to be looking forward to it, and I hope we can work it in. That's all I have.
When y'all dig into this, can you look into the enforcement of it and who will do the enforcement?
That's the main end. That's
Because
the
we
main
lack
emphasis.
that.
That's the
Right.
main emphasis of the whole
Right.
situation.
Okay.
That's what we don't have now. And the enforcement is put on the county right now to do things with taxes and so forth. We need to do away with that and get a more up-to-date enforcement program put in through the courts. But something that is fair to the public as well as everybody else.
Right, will be fair.
Okay.
I don't have anything else tonight. All right. Thank y'all, gentlemen. Our next item would be public comments, but let's take a 10-minute recess.
Right. Sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll call this meeting back to order. Our first item again would be, or our next item will be the public comment period. First person to speak would be Miranda Payne.
My 43 years makes it difficult to remember what I'm trying to say. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry.
State your name and address.
Miranda Payne, 1564 Mount Olive Road, Heatsville, Virginia. You're welcome. Good evening, everyone. My name is Miranda Payne, but for those who know me, I go by Mandy. I was raised in the community and, like most of you, taught by Mr. Long. I worked alongside you for most of my career, Mr. Fisher. I've spent a lot of time talking to you on the radio and phone, Mr. Brand. And my son played baseball with your son, Mr. Williams. I'm here not just as an employee of Northumberland County Sheriff's Office, but as a citizen of this county. I have been with Northumberland County Sheriff's Office for 23 years. I have raised 2 phenomenal sons while working at NCSO. I have worked for 4 wonderful sheriffs and made some lifelong friends that I truly thank God for. I was a 911 communications officer for 10 years, and I've been in my current position as a senior records specialist and court liaison for the last 13 years. If you've ever worked at NCSO, you know that a lot of us wear multiple hats due to being a small agency and also due to being understaffed. So our job titles are simply that, because we do so much more. As board members, I'm sure you also know that we don't get rich doing any of our jobs. We do them because we care about the community that some of us were raised in, and we want to do our best to protect and serve our citizens. The men and women at NCSO hear and see unspeakable things. And before we have a chance to process what happened, it's on to the next call. Although I haven't been a full-time dispatcher in 13 years, there are still times when I wake up out of my sleep because I can still hear people screaming from calls I've taken years ago, and I'm sure you have experienced the same thing, Mr. Fisher. There are times when we are scrutinized both privately and very publicly for doing our jobs, but we also receive a great deal of support. And we appreciate both because constructive criticism helps us to help you. We don't do it for the praise, however. We do it for the 6 men who sit before me, everyone in this room, everyone online, our families, and everyone else in this community. We have experienced heartwarming wins and very heartbreaking losses, and there is no time to grieve. On top of that, we have worked through natural disasters and a global pandemic, while dealing with our own mental and physical health and personal losses and tragedies, all while praying that we make it home to those who love us and need us the most. I think that I can speak for my fellow coworkers when I say that we appreciate all of you for everything that you do for us. We are not complaining at all. And we are not asking for special treatment, but we are asking to be treated fairly and given the compensation that we work hard and sacrifice for day in and day out. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next person is Tracy Williamson.
Good evening, gentlemen. I don't live in the county, but I've been here for 30 years at this job.
Tracy, would you state your name and address?
Oh, sure. Sorry about that. My name is Tracy Williamson, and my address is Brewington, Virginia, 23023.
Thank you.
Good?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I've introduced myself, and I have been an employee of Northumberland County Sheriff's Office for 30 years. In those 30 years, I've had the following positions: originally hired as Sheriff Wayne Middleton's secretary and a part-time dispatcher. From there, I went into a sworn position of correctional officer dispatcher. From there, I was a sworn sergeant in the jail and closed that jail in June of 2000. At this time, I was moved to a 911 supervisor's position and had 4 dispatchers underneath me and ended up with the whole room. From there, I went into the warrant and civil process department, and from there to the executive administration assistant. So as you can see, this has been a career for me, not just a job. Captain Bowie Neal, years ago, always told me, you are a jack of many trades, and there isn't much inside this office you can't do. It's a passion inside our souls that we do what we do. We at Northumberland work at the will of the sheriff. This is a small agency that wears many hats, and I feel that the general public needs to understand that. I have worked closely with Sheriff Beecham, and I feel that this county, the general public, needs to understand what kind of man that they have and what he fights for. In the 6 years I have stood beside him, he has represented this county well. He started his career as sheriff during the COVID crisis and kept our office running the whole entire time as our jobs were not workable from home. We have experienced many tragic things in the 30 years I've been there. We have held babies that have died and been beaten to death by a family member. We have attended deaths either by suicide or natural causes. We are the ones your families call in an emergency or having a crisis. That's what we do, and we sure don't do it for the money. The sheriff has obtained several grants, used asset forfeiture money and monies that have been donated to him in the tune of $418,130 that has been placed back into the county's general fund. He has made sacrifices and given up things that he has needed for his department for the sake of his employees to obtain raises, to keep his office competitive with the surrounding counties. The county has grown since the COVID epidemic, and those that have moved here are expecting the services that they had from wherever they have come from. Please do not throw us to the wolves. There are not many of us left that can say we haven't stayed and weathered many storms. Please watch out for those of us that show up every single day and take care of you. Thank you.
30 years.
Yes, sir.
How many years were you in a sworn position?
I stayed sworn until the salary survey that you all completed changed my title. So that was in 2021. A long time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I have no one else on the sign-up sheet. Would anyone else like to speak? Come on up.
For 3 days for this. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
I'm Brooke Russell. I live at 7779 Northumberland Highway. First, I want to thank the EMS, fire, dispatch. Not only have they been amazing, my daughter personally has called them because I was in the middle of a dogfight one time and they handled her absolutely amazingly. And that is why I'm here tonight. I'm here because I believe that they deserve, honestly, one of the biggest raises. But I also do not believe, like I was explaining to him, that the school should get, I'm sorry, teachers. I know y'all are listening and I love all of my teachers, don't get me wrong, but they've taken way too much money. I mean, the guy tonight, money has gone missing. Money has, there's just so much this man came up here and talked about tonight, and nobody has any answers. You've got people hiding things and all of that stuff, but yet the people who are here to save our lives and the people that are here throughout the nighttime, the people that came to my house at 11 o'clock at night didn't have to. They didn't have to get out of bed. They didn't have to leave their families. They didn't have to do any of that. What does the school do? Yes, they teach the people, but the EMS and all of that, that's not all through high school, elementary school, middle school. All of that is through training and exercises and things like that. The police department, The police department has to go through different trainings, whether it's to help save lives, because they have to do Narcan, or they have to do, if somebody barricades themselves in a house, they have to go and they have to talk these people down, right? So they have to save lives of innocent children, moms, dads, they have to save lives of anybody, to be honest, but yet they're gonna be the ones suffering. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous and astronomical. Also, we have dogs and cats at the animal shelter. Y'all are gonna take $15,000 away from the animal shelter because the school messed up. Dogs and cats can't talk to you. They can't tell you what they need. They can't tell you that they're hurt. They can't tell you any of that. But yet y'all are gonna take the money away that helps them with food or necessary items. I mean, y'all don't even pay for the things that you don't pay for everything that we use. You pay for the necessity. And the necessities are very necessity. Like, you have to have food for dogs, right? You have to have certain things for dogs, but you're gonna put $500 out, like dog tags. What's the point in dog tags? Do y'all have answers? Like, what's the point? The point is for us to spend more money, but yet you're gonna take that money away from the place that it should go to, like the animal shelter. That's where it should go. We, as volunteers, I mean, I spend countless hours at the animal shelter every single week. And I help the animal shelter every single week. I'm putting on a big event, by the way, July 12th, if y'all want to come out, it's at Kilmarnock, to raise money for things that y'all don't pay for. So anyways, that being said, I did write a lovely little letter, just like everybody else did. I just got my feelings. So it says, as a concerned Northumberland resident, or resident of Northumberland County, I'm speaking today because, like many of you, I am deeply concerned about the financial decisions being made in our county. They are troubling reports, missing funds, while at the same time, our school system is spending money at an alarming rate, as we well know. Now, decisions have turned into cutting funding for some of the most essential services that we rely on every day: law enforcement, 911 dispatchers, EMS, child protective services, and more. There are people who answer our calls in emergencies, the ones who leave their family to respond when we need them most. They are the backbone to our community, the first that show up and the last to quit. Cutting their funds is not only wrong, but it's dangerous. If anything, these professionals deserve more support. They deserve a raise, not reductions. We also need to talk about the animal shelter and the staff, the volunteers that tirelessly work to protect the voiceless, our dogs and our cats who need care, shelter, and a chance to find loving homes. They do so much, but with so little. And the lack of proper funding is hurting them too, and hurting the animals as we work so hard to save the lives. Our taxes are going up. So if we're going to be paying more money, then we deserve to keep our community safe and healthy and take care of the ones that work the hardest. That being said, more importantly, we need to know exactly where the money is being wasted at. I mean, you gave us a list on Tuesday, or no, I'm sorry, I asked for a list on Tuesday, and it had all of these deductions. But where's the money going? Why don't we have those lists? I mean, y'all should be passing them out to everybody that's in here, because we should all know we're all taxpayers. We're all here to give y'all money for y'all to spend. I think I'm done, but seriously, I'm really irritated about the school thing. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else like to speak?
Good afternoon, good evening. Once again, my name is Tanya Henry. I live at 112 Pebble Road in Heathsville. Mr. Fisher, you're in my district.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to I cannot sit still. I just had to say this. I'm here as a resident and an employee at Northumberland Department of Social Service, 25 years. And I spoke last time about our raises. And the presentation that was given today regarding the school, that $1.3 million that we may have to, as taxpayers, give to the school. But in their budget, they still had their raises. And they're getting a bonus. And you all proved that. So I just have to say, it is so hurtful to all of the county employees that work so hard. We work hard. I mean, you got adult protective services, we got child protective service, we issue benefits. They're talking about the cutting programs, and we are working tireless for this county and for the sheriff office, all the other county employees. And it is so hurtful to see you all give them their appropriation for their bonuses and still in their budget that they're getting raises. On this, I think the 17th, y'all having a special meeting,
Joint meeting.
and we just have to look at the big picture here. As a taxpayer, I'm paying taxes. I understand the school. Today, that presentation, they really had to get that together, and you all really need to get them together with the finances. I cannot see our department going months and months, not, doing the budget. They have to stay on the budget, but to still in their budget, they're gonna get raises. So I'm just speaking to you all that y'all really need to consider giving if they're gonna get raises, that we all should too as well. So I'm just advocating for Northumberland County Department of Social Service and all the other county employees. Thank you.
Hold on.
Tadlock? Clarification on one of the comments. Proposed budget before us, the school teachers are not getting a raise, correct?
You didn't hear.
No.
So what we have put in our budget is showing no
No
increase.
raises for no one. No one.
Okay, but the budget that they proposed today.
Yeah, what they proposed.
Okay.
It all comes down to, ma'am, what we're proposing as a county.
All right, but once you approve their budget and they still have it in there, they still gonna get it. Is that not correct? Am I wrong?
You're wrong.
And the bonuses that are being given by the state, not the county.
We got state bonuses
Right.
money as well, but we
there's
couldn't.
no matching funds.
I
from the
understand
county.
that.
And I guess, and the reason I'm bringing it up, ma'am, is because I don't want you to feel that we are giving raises to one group of folks and not everyone's getting. And I'm not trying to argue with you anything.
Oh,
I just want to give you good information. So you'll feel a little more at ease what's going on.
Okay, well,
I believe she
it's just looking at what they proposed and what they stated tonight. That's what I'm going
Can I
by.
add to that?
Yes.
So Dr. Leslie is that department head.
Mhm.
And just like every other department head in the county, she is asking for raises for her department. We haven't approved anything. And I'm glad you brought these points up because I think more people are slightly misinformed. And I'm glad that we've had this opportunity to clear that up for you.
Okay.
And SOQ money for those teachers, it's not going to cost the county one red cent. That's something that the governor passed down. I think the county's already received it. It's just a matter of whether or not people are going to give that to the teachers.
Right. I've just been here for 25 years and I've seen it seems like the school board, they just passed their budget. They have their board and their board can move things around and still give the raises. So that's what you all need to make sure then, that once y'all pass their budget, that they don't get the raises. But if you all pass the budget and they still get the raises, that's very unfair.
That will not happen. Whatever we decide to do is what those teachers will get or won't get as far as raises go.
Tanya, didn't the state send some money down for the social
Yes,
service?
we got, from the state sent us money for raises,
Right.
but it wouldn't have covered the whole amount, so we asked for the
Was that a raise?
$9,000.
Was that a bonus?
It was raises and bonus that the state sent
Right.
for a bonus and for raises. And we have to get that money back if we don't get the raise.
Yeah, I don't see that.
So all of that money has to go back to the state,
Doesn't make
and that's
sense.
over $40,000.
Do you know more about that?
That was, Ms. Haney
Yeah.
at the last meeting declared that. It's in the paper as well.
The bonus is similar to the SOQ bonus in that it's a one-time.
For social services, yes, and I just was trying to get clarification from Jackie Clayton as to whether or not she needed any local.
I'm
match
right
to
here.
that.
I'm
Are you
sorry.
on?
I am. I'm listening. I'm sorry. I was watching and not reading my messages. Yes, we got $11,000 for bonuses for that 1.5%, but I would need 3,000 something in local dollars for the bonus. And I would need an ordinance. Can't do it without an ordinance. For the raise, I have 29,000 and some change for the raise, but I would need altogether it was 9,000. So I would need about another 5,000 to give the raise. So in local dollars, I would need about 9,000 and some change to do both of those incentives.
So this particular bonus does require a local match in order for it to be given.
Yeah.
And ordinance.
Yeah, if you don't get that local match, then you have to return.
All of the money has to go back.
But yes, it's not like the schools with zero match. It's not like that, Mr. Brand. It would require, I don't have anything with me because I wasn't really prepared, but I think it's about $3,800.
All right, we'll have to discuss that at another time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, anyone else like to speak? Anyone else like to speak tonight? All right, would anyone that's online tonight like to speak? This is public comment period. Would you like to speak on anything?
Yes.
Yes.
Carol. Hi,
Would you state your name and address, please?
happy to. My name is Carol Cosby and I live at 393 East Fairway Drive. First off, I want to thank all of you supervisors for all the time and the work that you all do to help to improve Northumberland County. I just want to weigh in and support Mr. Fisher and the board to move forward with the drafting of the modifications for what I will call homeowner property management ordinance. I think it would be very well received throughout the county, improve the value of the county, and of course, beautify Northumberland. So thank you, Mr. Fisher, and thank you, Board of Supervisors.
All right, anything else, ma'am?
No, sir, but I think some other people want to speak.
Hi, my
All
name
right.
is Rick Saunders. I live at
Yes, sir, Mr. Saunders? We lost you.
hang on.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it's Rick Saunders, 598 East Fairway Drive, Kilmarnock. I too want to thank you all for your service, and I too want to support Mr. Fisher's efforts to create a new or a supplemented ordinance to take care of residential properties primarily. My experience in this county, where I've lived for about 10 years, is that there are not many homes that are covered by covenants. You know, you see a lot of that in Northern Virginia. You see a lot of it in Richmond with new developments, and perhaps in the Tidewater in the Virginia Beach area. But around here, at least where we are in the Indian Creek Estates area, we have probably 800 homes and we have no covenants. So we have no ability to enforce anything as far as exterior maintenance of buildings. And we have at least one home and probably others where we have boathouses falling into the river. We have trash being deposited in driveways in front of the house. We have shutters falling off houses. We have dead trees, large dead trees that are threatening power lines. And there's virtually nothing we can do about it. And so we have to look to the county. And I think one of the supervisors asked, who is going to enforce that? And I would assume that would be the building department. And I know that some counties like Arlington and Fairfax have adopted ordinances such as the one Mr. Fisher is talking about. And by doing so, they do have to establish, I think, a staff and a budget for that. So there may be some additional cost that goes with this, but I think it's critical that we have some ability to maintain the residences in this community. Otherwise, we all see our property values go down. So thank you all, and we appreciate whatever support you give us.
All right, thank you. Anyone else like to speak tonight?
Yes, this is Sheldon Groner, Groner, at 562 East Fairway Drive in Kilmarnock, and I'm a neighbor of Mr. Saunders, who just spoke, and Ms. Cosby, who spoke. I too want to thank Mr. Fisher for his efforts in helping to establish just control over the properties in this area. As Mr. Saunders said, there are some properties that are just in disrepair, and we support Mr. Fisher's efforts to address these kinds of things. So, and thank all of you, supervisors.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone else like to speak?
Yes, my name is George Christopheradis, and I live at 610 East Fairway Drive, and I'm a neighbor of everyone that just spoke, basically. And the problem is, the houses around us are just kept magnificently. I mean, the properties are taken care of, the grass is cut, everyone does a fantastic job, and then you get one person or possibly two. In our situation, we have one situation that's really creating havoc. We've been here for 6 years, and before us, this problem had been in place. Nothing has been done. Mr. Fisher has stepped up in the last couple of years here, speaking with him, Mr. Fisher, I thank you so much, to take care of some things and push the button and press this person to clean up. And this is just one event in one area. I don't drive around the whole Northumberland area, but I can honestly say our property over here in East Fairway Drive near Indian Creek is beautiful, and it's great to drive by and see it. But when you go down and all of a sudden you take a look to your left, it looks like Stanford and Son. So with that situation, if you guys can really push this through, I'm willing to volunteer and help in any way, shape, or form. Let's make this happen, and let's help clean up this community as a whole. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Anyone else like to speak tonight in the public comment period? All right, anyone else like to speak in the public comment period? All right, we'll close the public comment period and we'll move on to our next item. The next item is the public hearing. Mr. Tadlock, I'll let you take over.
Yes, so the public hearing tonight is to consider amendment to the fiscal year 2025 budget. The budget amendment is for the purpose of budgeting, appropriating monies for grants, reimbursements, additional personnel, contractual cost, opioid settlement monies, sheriff's office, and emergency services. The total cost is $630,425.17.
All right, any board members have any comments or questions before I open the public hearing? All right, if not, I'll open the public hearing. I have no one on the sign-up sheet tonight. Would anyone like to speak? Would anyone like to speak on this amendment? All right, would anyone like to speak that's online tonight about this amendment, but this a budget amendment? All right, would anyone that's online like to speak about this budget amendment? All right, since we have no one to speak, close the public hearing, the matters before the board. What's the pleasure of the board? These funds have already been appropriated, haven't they?
These funds have already been appropriated by the board. There's no, it does not include the appropriations done tonight.
Done
But
tonight.
it does include all previous appropriations.
So this would be just to include them in the current fiscal year's budget.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because it goes over the threshold of the 1%.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
I move to approve.
All right.
Second it.
Got a motion second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All against?
Nay.
All right, motion passes 4-1. All right. We have no other, excuse me, we have no other public hearings tonight. Only thing we have left is to convene into a closed meeting. Cadillac, whenever you're ready.
Need a motion that the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors convene in closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Freedom of Information Act, Section 2.2, 3711A1 for the discussion consideration of personnel matters. Section 2.2, 3711A8 for consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel. Sections 2.2, 3711A29 discussion of the award of public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offers, and discussion of the terms or the scope of such contract, where discussion in open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. Invited to attend the closed meeting as necessary are the county administrator, county attorney, assistant county administrator, as they are deemed necessary, and their presence will reasonably aid the board in its consideration of the topics to be discussed pursuant to Virginia FOIA Section 2.2, 3712F.
All right, can I have a motion, gentlemen?
Motion to approve.
Second. I got a motion second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All against? Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in closed meeting. Thank y'all for coming tonight.
Motion that the Northumberland Board of Supervisors return to public meeting and certify by roll call vote that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting, were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting.
All right, need a motion.
So move.
Need a second. Motion second. All right. Roll call vote. Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Brand.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye.
Mr. Haney votes aye. All right, we're now back in open meeting. Ted, like you need any action from us?
No, sir.
All right, before I ask for carryover, Mr. Long, you said you had something you wanted to say?
Yes. Mr. Tyler, how's the park coming along in Cali? You know, the one that's supposed to be, in progress? You can't.
I'm not sure. I know the Cali Hometown Community Association was actively working on that.
Okay. And the last thing, I think we need some of these, we got two, I believe we got two sites, beach, what they call beach sites where people go and they complain about how dirty it is, or whatever.
You say beach sites?
Yeah, the sites,
Okay.
yeah. And, I think we need to clean those up.
What?
I know we have Vermont.
Vermont Beach.
What's the other one? What's the other one? I know Vermont.
Vermont.
What's the other one?
That's it. Vermont.
Always trash down there.
Yeah.
Especially after a weekend.
Do we have any containers down there for trash or what? I don't know.
We had a container down there at one time, but, the board asked for that to be removed.
Okay. Wow.
So I don't believe, there's nothing down there now, no.
When the last time we had to clean up, do you know?
Grass we cut this year?
That. Yeah.
I know Curtis puts in his report that he makes some rounds down there.
I can't remember what was last comment and
I don't know, but I remember,
grass, anything.
Yeah,
I remember seeing the comments in there in regards that he's been down there doing some things.
Would you
Yeah.
check on that, Mr. Tadlock?
I'll get with Curtis. I know he goes down there from time to time to check on things, so.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right, anybody else got anything else? All right. Staff got anything? All right, motion to carry over to 6/17/25 at 1 PM.
Correct.
Motion made.
All right, got him.
I'm sorry. That date and time, we're doing the joint meeting with the school board.
Yeah,
Does the board want to meet after that to discuss the budget? Have budget discussions further, or
Right, yeah, we should.
Right.
are we
should.
looking to meet Wednesday? Cause we need to really think about,
Let's take advantage of that meeting.
take advantage of it, well, right here.
we talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay,
talk
that's
about
fine. I just want to keep that on the radar to keep,
All right.
keep working on
that. Yeah,
that.
let's keep it going. We're already here, we might as well do it.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's all right. All right, got a motion, second.
Mr. Gregory, they got your room ready, calendar.
Yep. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those again, all right. See y'all